are seeing on the ground here. I've heard just a little bit, but I am fascinated by what you're seeing and how you're approaching it. It's not easy, but the military can model so many wonderful solutions, and I am excited about making the rest of the country aware of not just the challenges you face, but the work you're doing to get these young recruits and trainees back on track, because a lot of young people around the country could use this same kind of support.
So we hope we can help you get that message out. But what's been fascinating, already starting to see some significant results, huge results and changes, just based on the small population we have. And you know, we couldn't have you in an Army post without giving you an Army briefing.
Yes.
We'd much rather have a
Yes.
based on learning methods of the new generation and how they do things. The values, you know, we bring new soldiers into our culture and train them Army values, which are critical as we send them to defend the nation. The third area is the attributes, and we've seen. I want to tell you who we get. We call them the millennials, and I'm sure you've heard that term before. But as we've taken a look at the young soldiers we get into our training base, the recruits that become soldiers, these are some of the attributes. As we've seen the results, we're starting to see the results now of the elimination in most secondary and primary school of physical education in the mid-90s. And we're, you know, when that happened, the kids that were 8 years old in 1994, Sonia, why don't you talk about that a little bit in terms of the details we're seeing in consumption of milk in our basic training. Well, we do surveys with our new soldiers, and we ask them questions about their life.
Opposed to those beverages that have nutrients in it. So we're seeing that very consistently.
And then the last area is something the folks wanted me to put on there, because I've kind of coined the O food group of soldiers we get, but it is of some. That's a second day soldier. And I can tell you a little bit about that, but here are some of the details we're seeing in the Army. Now, these are different from the 2008 General's Report, because that was all military, but you can see that about a little, obviously, the fitness levels. The TV and the computer statistics, again, part of this generation of millennials, 3 hours a day in each. And then the other thing that we're tracking, because it affects bone growth, bone density, and tooth decay, is the...
It goes back to what the General said, reference elementary schools and secondary schools and the lack of physical education in the programs today. And basically, it's a developmental issue for our young children, is they have to see issues we're seeing now.
So, with that...
so you're saying the over-specialization is in a sport. You're starting...
The specificity could be an issue depending on the type of sport, yes or no.
Even as some parents will put their children in...
Because the women, our incoming soldiers are experiencing that too. And that certainly impacts their ability to perform because those oxygen carriers aren't present. So that's, you know, one of those nutrients dense in amendings. In addition to that, we found our soldiers who reported to us that they were either always hungry or almost always hungry, 5 times more likely to consider quitting.
Yesterday, talking to a dining facility manager, he goes, "Hey, sir, this new campaign is great." He says, "You saved me last year $600,000 in grease costs for cooking oil." He says, the supplier's really upset, but...
And at the end of that 10 weeks, they feel pretty good. And so the chances, and although we haven't been able to track them, the chances of them continuing to do it hopefully will be much greater when you kind of show them how you do it instead of just telling them this is how you should be.
I want to see it. I don't want to read it upside down. I want to see it.
Lactism activity that we have tried is, okay, if the food actually works, me actually doing something other than sitting on the couch and playing PlayStation actually works to get me where I need to be. So they take that.
Right, how much